Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a story that went absolutely viral. The claim connecting India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the Nobel Peace Prize. Let's get into it.
So let's dive right in. It's not every day you hear a world leader called the biggest contender for the Nobel Peace Prize, right? Especially when it supposedly comes from an insider. But that's exactly what happened with India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This story just exploded online, so let's unpack how it all started.
And this was the line that did it. The biggest contender for the Nobel Peace Prize. Wow. That's a powerful statement. And it seemed to be coming straight from a top official at the Norwegian Nobel Committee. This wasn't just saying Modi was a candidate. It was suggesting he was the leading one.
Okay, but whenever you see a claim that big, you've got to ask the obvious question. Is it actually true? Where did this quote even come from? So let's pull on that thread a little bit and see if this whole story holds up to scrutiny.
All right, so let's trace this back to the beginning. The whole thing kicked off with a bunch of media reports, and they were all saying the same thing, that a major high-level endorsement for Narendra Modi had come straight from the Nobel Committee itself.
And they even named a source, Asle Toje, who is the deputy leader of the Norwegian Nobel Committee. The reports were claiming he didn't just, mention Modi in passing. They said he specifically singled him out for the prize. And let me tell you, that would be a huge break from protocol for the committee.
And look, the claims were super specific. This wasn't just some vague praise. We're talking about phrases like biggest contender and most reliable face of peace in the world. These were being reported as direct quotes, making it sound like a totally clear, unambiguous endorsement. No question about it.
But then, just as fast as this story took off, the whole thing took a sharp turn. A really crucial clarification came out. Asle Toje himself actually responded to all these reports. And what he had to say, well, it completely changed the narrative. And this is where the story just completely flips on its head. That viral claim about him being the biggest contender, Toje said he never said it. That most reliable face of peace quote, also denied. And the official endorsement? Well, that was apparently just him expressing hope for Modi's peace efforts to succeed, not some official nomination. The whole thing, the entire premise, turned out to be a misreport.
So the bottom line is this. The very foundation of this entire viral story was officially debunked by the committee. That sensational claim that everyone was talking about, it just wasn't true.
Okay, so that kind of begs a bigger question, right? If that blockbuster quote was totally false, then why is Prime Minister Modi's name even in the conversation about global peace to begin with? There must be something there. Let's take a look at the real substance behind all the speculation.
And the answer, it turns out, isn't about one misquoted line. It's really about a consistent foreign policy and a whole series of diplomatic moves that have placed him, and by extension India, right in the middle of some of the world's most complex and important conversations.
You see, this whole conversation is really built on a foundation of actual diplomatic actions. Things like actively trying to mediate in conflicts, including the Russia-Ukraine war, pursuing a foreign policy that's all about cooperation, and even using soft power, like promoting the International Day of Yoga to build harmony. So when you put all of that together, you can start to see why his name is even in the mix.
And it's really important to point this out. Even though that Nobel official's so-called endorsement was debunked, there is genuine support for his role as a peacemaker out there. It's just coming from other influential people. Take veteran investor Mark Mobius, for instance. He's been pretty vocal about this, and he's not just offering some vague praise. He's come right out and said that he thinks Modi deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, pointing specifically to his ability to talk and engage with leaders from all across the political map. And for Mobius, the key reason is India's neutral, balanced stance in big global conflicts. This whole approach of not picking a side, but instead pushing for dialogue, well, supporters like him see that as a really crucial contribution to calming things down and bringing about global stability. Now, to really get the full picture here, we have to take a quick step back. We need to understand how the Nobel Peace Prize process actually works. Because let me tell you, it's a completely different world from all the public speculation and media headlines.
everything we talk about out here, what gets reported, who we think is going to win, all of that is totally separate from what the committee is actually doing. Their work is shrouded in secrecy and for a very good reason.
So get this. The committee has a strict 50-year secrecy rule. 50 years. That means everything. The nominations, the background checks on candidates, all of their discussions. It's all kept completely under wraps for half a century. Literally no one outside that room knows who is really in the running.
So what does that mean for us? It means that anytime you hear a name pop up in the news for the Nobel Peace Prize, it's pretty much always based on speculation, or maybe just someone's hope. It's not coming from some leaked official shortlist because that list doesn't exist publicly.
So at the end of the day, this is where the story lands. Yes, that viral quote was a misreport, but the underlying reasons why people are even having this discussion, those are very real. Award or no award, what the source material shows is that Prime Minister Modi's diplomatic work has definitely made him a major player in the global conversation about peace.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? In a world with so many complex challenges, what really matters more? Is it the official recognition that comes with a prize, or is it the actual day-in, day-out work of diplomacy and dialogue? It's something to think about. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.